In Amaruru Town, the name Mr. Daniel Okoro carried weight. He was not just another man. He was a pillar, a lion among men. From the days of his youth, when he sold palm oil in small tins at the market, to the height of his power as one of the wealthiest businessmen in the region, Daniel had built his life brick by brick. Every morning, at exactly 6 o'clock, his tall black gate swung open. His black SUV rolled onto the dusty road, polished so well it reflected the morning sun. The townspeople often paused to watch. They whispered, "There goes Chief Daniel, a disciplined man, a man blessed by God." And indeed, he looked blessed. His mansion towered like a palace. A wide veranda stretched across its face. Mango trees lined the driveway. Chandeliers hung in his sitting room, their crystals catching light like stars. On the walls were portraits of his children: David, the first son; Mary, the daughter who carried both beauty and brains; and Junior, the boy who followed his father everywhere, asking endless questions. But wealth and influence do not always protect a man from betrayal. Sometimes they invite it. It began subtly. Daniel noticed Stella, his second wife, becoming distant. She was elegant, always dressed in fine lace and heavy jewelry. In public, she smiled and played her role as the devoted wife. But at home, her warmth toward Daniel was non-existent. She laughed less with him. She spent long hours on her phone, smiling at messages he could not see. When she spoke to him, it was always about her asking for money. Money for new clothes, money for more jewelries and wigs. She lived a luxury lifestyle fully funded by her husband, Mr. Daniel, without a care in the world. One Tuesday night, the truth struck like lightning. Mr. Daniel was laying in bed, half asleep, when he heard Stella's laughter from downstairs. It was not the forced laugh she sometimes gave him. This was different. It was young and girlish. The kind of laughter she once gave him when their marriage was new. Outfit is curiosity. Mr. Daniel slipped quietly from the bed and tiptoed to the staircase. From the shadows, he saw her sitting in the living room, her phone pressed to her ear, and her face glowing with happiness. Her words made him freeze where he stood. "Don't worry, my love. Very soon, it will all be ours. The house, the land, the cars. Just be patient with me." Mr. Daniel's breath hung in his throat. Ours? He thought to himself. Who was she even speaking to? He clutched the railings tight. His knuckles turned gray. His heart was beating faster. And in that moment, he knew that the woman he had trusted with everything, the woman whom he shared his bed with, had become a stranger. That night, as he lay beside her, staring at the ceiling, she slept peacefully, unaware that her words had burned holes in his soul. The next morning, Mr. Daniel drove to his office, but he could not focus. Every word his wife had spoken replayed in his mind. He thought of his brothers, Samuel and Peter, who were always hanging around his home and always hinting at sharing his property once he is no more. He thought of his cousins, men who had eaten from his table but whose eyes always glistened with greed. He realized that he was surrounded, not by love, but by wolves waiting for his death. That afternoon, he called his childhood friend Mr. Joseph. They had grown up together, barefoot boys in Amaruru, sharing roasted corn on the roadside. Mr. Joseph was the only person Mr. Daniel still trusted completely. When they met, Mr. Daniel's face was hard, while his voice was low. "Joseph," he began, "I need to see their true hearts. I need to know who truly loves me, and who is only waiting for my corpse." Joseph leaned back, stunned, and asked, "And how will you do that, my friend?" Mr. Daniel's jaw tightened as he replied, "By giving them what they want. I will let them believe I am dead." Joseph nearly dropped his cup of water. "Daniel, are you mad? Do you know what you're saying?" Joseph thundered, but Mr. Daniel's eyes were wide and bulging. "It is the only way. I cannot rest until I know the truth." And so he began to make plans. He met with Dr. Ade, his loyal family doctor, who owed him many favors. Together, they made all the necessary arrangements. They started by staging a fake, deadly illness. Mr. Daniel was made to lie down on the hospital bed for days, while Stella was made to believe he collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. When Stella got to the hospital, the doctor made her believe that her husband, Mr. Daniel, was very ill and had a few days to live. After a few days, when Stella left the hospital to get a change of clothes, the doctor faked Mr. Daniel's death, and then they made a fake death certificate. When Stella requested to see her husband's corpse, the doctor convinced her that the sickness that killed her husband was communicable and so Stella never insisted on seeing the corpse. After that, the doctor started strategic, quiet whispers to the right people. Within a few days, the news had spread across Amaruru Town like wildfire that Chief Daniel Okoro is dead after a short, dangerous illness. The news shook Amaruru to its core. The church bell tolled at dawn. Neighbors rushed to the mansion, wailing and clutching their wrappers. Women collapsed in the dust, crying, "Ah, Chief is gone." Men shook their heads, whispering, "What a great loss. Amaruru has lost a pillar." The village youths pressed against the black gates, whispering in awe, "The great man is gone." But Mr. Daniel, while hiding in Mr. Joseph's small guest house, watched from afar. And what he saw broke him more than death itself. His younger brother Samuel, who once bowed low whenever Mr. Daniel entered a room, now strutted around town boasting, "At last, my wealthy brother is gone. Now I can finally claim my share of his properties." His cousins sat in bars, drinking beer, and arguing loudly over his fleet of cars. "That black Benz is mine. I've always had my eyes on it," one shouted. "Over my dead body," replied another. "You can choose another car, but that Benz is absolutely mine." Back in the mansion, Stella dressed in black lace, her head covered with a black head cover, pretending to mourn. She moved slowly, speaking with a trembling voice. But Mr. Daniel's sharp eyes saw the truth. He saw her faint smiles when she thought no one noticed. He saw the tall stranger who began visiting the house, hugging and touching her hand too tenderly. And at night, while others are sleeping, the same stranger sneaks into Stella's bedroom and spends hours there. Stella's betrayal cut Mr. Daniel too deep that he felt intense pain in his chest. He has always loved her and provided all her needs. He couldn't believe that everything he did for her was never enough. Yet not all hearts were blackened. David, his first son, wept bitterly, refusing to eat any food or even drink water. He led prayers for his father's soul to rest in peace. Mary, his daughter, cried until her eyes were red and swollen. She sat by the gate for hours, whispering, "Daddy can't be gone. He promised to see me graduate." And Junior, his teenage son, wandered the house like a lost lamb, asking again and again, "If Daddy is gone, who will protect us?" In Mr. Joseph's guest house, Mr. Daniel wept bitterly. His children's loyalty was the only light in his darkened world. The day of the funeral came like a storm. By dawn, the compound overflowed. Different cars lined the street. Drummers beat slowly, their sound heavy with sorrow. Elderly women stirred jollof rice and all kinds of soups in huge pots. The aroma filled the air, mixing with the cries of mourners. Some youths arranged the drinks into a cooling van, waiting to serve guests. The coffin gleamed under the canopy, decorated with flowers. When the priest arrived, his voice was heavy with prayers, but grief soon gave way to greed. Halfway through the funeral service, Samuel rose to his feet, his voice sharp. Why waste money burying a man who was selfish in life? He was very stingy. He gave us nothing. He hoarded his wealth. So why should we honor his dead body? Gasps filled the air. Women clutched their wrappers. Men exchanged shocked glances. David leapt up, fury burning in his eyes. "You dare insult my father even in death? He fed you, clothed you, carried your financial burden for years, and now you call him selfish. What did you ever do for him when he was alive aside from always asking for money and taking from him? How many times did my father set up a business for you, and you squandered it? You are an ingrate. I wish Daddy was here to witness this abomination." Shouts erupted. Some cousins started to hurl insults at each other. Old wounds spilled open. The funeral turned into a noisy market of anger, and then Stella made her move. She staggered, clutching her chest. "Oh, my husband," she wailed before collapsing dramatically. People rushed to her side. The tall stranger who had been secretly visiting her since her husband's death bent low, his hand brushing her arm in a way no man except her husband should. And that was the breaking point. Mr. Daniel couldn't take it anymore, so he stepped forward. At first, people ignored him, thinking he was just a laborer. But when he removed his cap, there was total silence. A woman started to scream. "Ghost! Ghost!" some shouted, running helter-skelter. His children froze, tears streaming down their faces. Stella stumbled backward, her head cover slipping off her head, and her lips trembling. "No, this is impossible." Mr. Daniel's voice thundered across the compound. "I was dead to you all before this day. Because you buried your loyalty while I was still breathing. He pointed at Samuel and continued, you drank my wine, ate my food, lived in my house, and still you prayed for my death. He turned to his cousins angrily. You fought over my cars while my children wept. Is this what family should do? Finally, his eyes locked on Stella. And you, Stella, the woman I loved and trusted. The grave you dug for me, you will enter it yourself. In my own house, under my roof, you plotted my death and warmed another man's bed. The crowd erupted. The strange man tried to slip away, but some young men blocked him, dragging him out in disgrace. Stella fell to her knees, sobbing. Daniel, please forgive me. I was confused. Please. But Daniel's heart was hardened like stone. That day, the funeral became a courtroom. Daniel raised his voice so all could hear. My wealth will go only to those who truly loved me. My children, David, Mary, and Junior will inherit everything. As for the rest of you, my brothers, my cousins, my unfaithful wife, you are cut off forever. Please leave my house immediately, the crowd roared. Some cheered. Some wept. Stella fainted for real this time, and no one rushed to help her. For weeks, Amaruru buzzed with the story. The man who attended his own funeral. They whispered in the markets and in the streets. Some said he was mad. Others said he was wise. But all agreed that no one had ever seen such a thing. Samuel and the greedy cousins lived in shame and shunned by neighbors. The tall stranger disappeared, never to be seen again. Stella was sent back to her parents with nothing but her mourning clothes. And Mr. Daniel? He lived on with peace, his children closer to him than ever. He carried only one truth in his heart. You never truly know people's hearts until they believe you can no longer hear them.
Like this video, share and subscribe for more exciting stories coming up on this channel.